Welcome back to LEGO Wars as we begin the knockout stages. Over the last few months we've seen 50 competitors fight it out for a place in the bracket, and now it's finally time for them to go head to head to take the Series 3 crown. We've looked back through the performances of our surviving machines and ranked them appropriately, so without further ado let's reveal the bracket. Tonight we'll be focusing on the left hand side of the bracket, so let's reintroduce the robots fighting tonight.
First, from Hinkley, 23 red.
The dual disc spinner had an impressive debut in Heat D, but they get to score a KO and that may play against them in the bracket.
From Manchester and seeded number 20, Agrawobber.
The blue blob came out top in the heats over the defending champs, however their lack of knockout potential could come back to bite them.
From Cossie, Block Lobster.
A driving mishap from Wilbur brought Block Lobster into the final wildcard position, so the pressure is on to prove they deserve their place.
From Didcot and seeded number 13, Megalovania.
The friendly Hammerbot fought valiantly in the Heat G to second place and could spring a surprise in the bracket.
From Dublin and Ireland, Dietor.
The Polka Dot Peril finally broke its winning duck in style in the heats and looks in fine form heading into tonight.
From California in the USA, Frenzy.
The old bot finally had its day in the spotlight in the heats, disposing of Zoidie Blue and Magulo, and looks to bow out the series on a high.
From Amana in Malta, Hospitaler.
Oliver! That's going to be a problem.
The rookie had a stop-start run in the heats to progress, however those battery issues are still a worry heading into tonight.
From and seeded number 19, Megalovania.
The revamped Megalovania survived a scare last week to eventually win the heats, but that front armour looks somewhat suspect.
From British Columbia in Canada, Nightmare.
The Batterbricks competitor had a steady run through Heat E, but they're going to need to step up a gear to make the next round.
From New Hampshire in the USA, seeded number 16, P1.
The front hinge gave Pain its biggest scare in Heat C, and with its handy crab, they should have enough in the tank to go far.
From Virginia in the USA, Pain.
Only a lucky block of napalm stopped Pain from that top ranking, and surely they'll be channeling that anger into their future performances.
From Cumbranan, seeded number 3, Panic Attack.
The ex-champs were virtually unstoppable in Heat B to earn the top ranking. Anything short of the semi-finals would be a disappointment for the Welsh machine.
From Annapolua in the Netherlands, seeded number 12, Petunia.
Our veteran Dutch Crusher was powerless to stop Duck winning the heat, but with some respectable performances they could still bust a few brackets.
From Glasgow, Wakanat.
The energetic Quackbot was a pleasant surprise in Heat I, but they'll need more of their lucky charms to move on tonight.
From Newry in Northern Ireland, Weldor M.
Weldor's strong international performances continued on into the heats and are another machine to watch out for in the bracket.
From Northampton and seeded number 8, White Hole.
Last year's most destructive robot had a tougher go of things in Heat G, but they still won the heat and should not be written off lightly. We'll begin the action tonight in the top left corner of the bracket with the 19th seeds Megalovania ranked 8th tonight against the 25th ranked Weldor M, so let the fighting begin.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So here we are with the beginning of the round of 32. Weldor M getting the better start there off the starting grid, now bringing in that big spinner of theirs. A little bit of a surprise package this year actually. Oh, what happened there to Megalovania? Megalovania ripped off one of their own front wedgelets, and the other one's hanging loose as well. Could we see an upset here? The number 19 seeds and ranked 8 for this bracket going out this early on. Weldor M driving into the side wall, though no reason. Oh, what happened there? The wheel came off! The wheels come off as well. Megalovania's exploded. The pit's gone down to Megalovania nearly driving down it. What on earth is going on? How am I meant to keep up with all this action? I'm not too sure. Megalovania has been trashed, but the more serious damage has been done to Weldor M. Its wheel has come off, and I think that's it now for the 25 ranked machine for this bracket. Oh, they've done so well this year. They came third in the International Championships. Oh, they made the round at 32 this time around. They won't be disappointed with that. They've done themselves proud. They've got 3 seconds to move. They're not going to. And look there, the other wheel came off as well. Megalovania has splattered Weldor M. Oh,
6.
Another huge hit. Leave it alone, lads. It's already dead. That was an impressive win for Megalovania. All you can really say to that one is ouch. It started well for Weldor M. They got a few attacks in at the start. Megalovania causing damage to itself, but then came back, taking out the wheel there, look. Off it came, and after that, Weldor M was a sitting duck. Ouch.
An explosive start to the round of 32 as Megalovania decimates Weldor M to move on to the next round. Next up is more spinner action as two of the stars from Series 3, White Hole and 23 Red, face off against one another.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So, two deadly spinners with frighteningly dangerous blades. 23 Red, definitely getting the better start there. White Hole struggling to get off the starting point. Now getting itself up to speed, though. We're going to see the two spinners hit each other here at full force. We are no visible damage done there, though. 23 Red spinner was stopped there by the spinner of White Hole. Although White Hole, I think, has got a loose bit there. Can you see that little piece of shell hanging off the side? Down goes the pit courtesy of 23 Red. White Hole almost lived up to its seeding this series, managing to get ranked 9th when they were seeded 8th overall. Something came flying off of them a moment ago. So 23 Red, I guess, are winning on damage at this point. Is White Hole spinner okay? It's stopped. No, it's spinning back up to speed again now. 23 Red on the aggressive. White Hole doesn't really seem to know what to do here. They can't get their bearings. If 23 Red were to win this, it would be a surprise. White Hole, of course, seeded 8th for this series and ranked 9th. Meanwhile, 23 Red only ranked 24th in this bracket. They had a good appearance in their heat earlier on in this series, but they didn't rack up enough points to get themselves ranked any higher in this bracket. For me, though, they are on top at the moment. White Hole really do have to try hard here to hit them back. I must admit, I thought White Hole was going to be the easy winners for this one, due to them having a less easy target of a shell to hit, but obviously I was very wrong. 23 Red have maintained the aggressive throughout and have managed to keep them pinned down and have stopped them from spinning up to speed properly. Bringing in that spinner again. White Hole can't do any damage here to 23 Red. And for me, 23 Red are doing all the work here. White Hole now getting a little bit too close to the pit. Now that's a bit of a worry. It's a hard robot to control because when it's spinning they can't tell where the front of the machine is. That seems to be their main problem here, just trying to get their bearings. It's almost as if they can't quite figure out where the front of the robot is. They're darting all around the place, really. Not much control on that machine. Now going into the side wall. 23 Red for me are winning all three criteria at the moment. Aggression, control, and damage. White Hole is flailing and flapping around like a sort of like a maddened seagull out there almost. Not really very good. Oh, and nearly driving into the pit, but just managing to dart away. Something else came flying off there as well. White Hole are now stuck in the corner, which is perhaps the worst place a full body spinner could get stuck. They've got a corner on one side of them and the pit the other. And they could be in trouble here. They're right on the edge of the pit as well. They're right on the edge of the pit. They're struggling to get their control. I'm not too sure if they can get away from there. They're spinning up to speed for some reason. Getting away from the pit. No! They've got themselves stuck on the edge. Their writing is on the wall. They're flirting with defeat. And if 23 Red can get round here now, they can get them down the pit. Surely it's only a matter of time until the number 8 seeds are out. Although, can they last? Can they hold on? They've got 7 seconds to survive. It's too late. With 5 seconds to go, they get pitted and 23 Red go through. Well, it's a shame for White Hole. They didn't really seem to get themselves going. They got a good start, but after that, they sort of struggled to really maintain their control. They couldn't really get their bearings. I'm wondering if the damage done there did something to their spinner, because it never really span up properly again until the very end of the fight. 13 Black, meanwhile, very aggressive throughout, very controlled. We're able to keep them at bay, keep that spinner from spinning, and eventually get White Hole down the pit. That's an upset.
At long last, 23 Red have a knockout to their record, and what a KO it is, taking out the 8th seeds. Let's jump up now to our next fight with the 12th and 13th seeds respectively, Petunia and Petunia.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Very quick start there from Petunia. Ranked 16th for this bracket, seeded 12th overall. Meanwhile, Petunia, oh, you see the axe there? Look at that, flexing and bending against the front scoop there of Petunia. So that means that Petunia's scoop is a good defense mechanism to that axe. Petunia now being pushed back into the corner. Of course, they're ranked 17th and seeded 13th overall. So both these machines are seeded next to each other and ranked next to each other as well. So a little bit of a tidbit there for you. Not too sure if anybody's actually interested in that. Let's get on with the fighting, shall we? Petunia grabbing a hold of Petunia. Look there! Great tactics and driving there by Petunia. Getting underneath, scooping up Petunia and pinning them against the side wall and bringing that crusher down. And they managed to get it in there. Look! into one of those gaps at the back and now pushing him into the pit button. Can they now get Kato down the pit? No, Kato able to escape the grab and the clutch of the strong Dutch machine. But Petunia really giving it a good go here. They definitely want to get further in this tournament, don't they? Grabbing a hold now of the face, but now letting it go. Kato and Nemoidia using their axe well there to sort of knock themselves free from the grab and the grasp. That wasn't a very good shot. They completely missed it on that occasion. And the back panels come off. Because of course it has. It's Kato and Nemoidia, and that's what they do. Their favourite things to do are to flail around like mad, have weird eyes, and lose their rear panel. Sometimes their face as well. Down comes Jax again on top of Petunia. Now Petunia, oh, nearly had them down the pit, but they were just able to get away. Or were they? Kato and Nemoidia, yes. Backing away from the pit and nearly driving in. And again, oh no! And in an attempt to try and get away that time, they got themselves stuck. Can Petunia get them down the pit? Come on, guys. Get them down. Oh.
6.
Kato and Nemoidia got a bit impatient and threw themselves in there. What are you doing? Petunia, that's a late attack. Oh, that is awful sportsmanship from the winners. Controversy reigns supreme as ever on LEGO Wars. Kato and Nemoidia didn't really do much in that fight. They did a little bit of damage to Petunia here at the beginning, which I didn't notice earlier on. They managed to knock that piece off, but other than that, it was all Petunia's fight, that one. Managing to grab a hold of them. Here, look, crushing into the machine, scooping them up, driving them into the arena pit button as well. Also managing to get a hold of the face, although Kato and Nemoidia did use good defensive tactics with their axe, managing to shake themselves free from that attack. And then they went and threw themselves down the pit. Oopsie daisy, they're out.
Despite the early damage, it's the first international champs Petunia who will march on to the round of 16. Let's see if they'll have a rematch between the top-ranked Panic Attack or the rank outsiders Block Lobster.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Two Robot Wars legends duking it out here. Block Lobster going for the pit straight away. Is that wise? Against the number 3 seeds Panic Attack. Their former champions, are reigning all-star champions. Seeded first in this bracket as well, don't forget, so they're definite favourites after their heat performance earlier on. Block Lobster nearly pitting themselves! What on earth are they doing? They opened the pit and they're about to throw themselves straight into it. Well, may as well make it easy for the first ranked robot in this tournament, but you're going down! No, you're not! How on earth did Block Lobster survive that? I am I'm absolutely flabbergasted. How on earth did Block Lobster not go down the pit there? That's physically impossible. That's defying gravity. What are you doing, Block Lobster? You're changing quantum physics. I think it's quantum physics. I wasn't very good at science at school. Now, Block Lobster underneath Panic Attack, but failing to flip it. That has been an issue in this series of LEGO Wars. Block Lobster nearly in the pit again, but managing to get away. Good evasive driving there. Panic Attack now getting underneath Block Lobster and lifting them up into the air. The wheels spinning frantically. They managed to get away eventually. Can Block Lobster turn this thing around? For me, Panic Attack are by far in control here. They were not only they're winning on control and aggression. I'm not really too sure if either of these machines are going to win via damage. Let's be real here. Oh, Block Lobster again. Unable to flip their opponent. They really do need to get that sorted for the next series of LEGO Wars if they come back, because whilst it looks very cool, it's not very effective, is it, that flipper? Still, it's a good little machine, isn't it? They had to get in, don't forget though, via the play-ins. They are ranked 32nd in this bracket, so they are the lowest ranked machines. They've got a lot to prove here, and there would be no disgrace going out to Panic Attack, I know that much. Panic Attack has actually taken some damage. Look, one of the front wedge slits has come off. So, Block Lobster may be very well winning on that category. But I'm pretty certain that the aggression and control shown by Panic Attack will be more than enough to outweigh that. Off comes the other wedgelet though. So that means they are slightly more exposed now, and a good drive here from Block Lobster could see them getting underneath Panic Attack and shoving them down the pit. Not too sure if they have the pushing power to do that though. Panic Attack, don't forget, is a 4-wheel drive machine. Lots of grip, that's why it's such an effective and such a successful machine really. Good weaponry, good driven, sorry. I'm still lost over the fact that Block Lobster nearly fell down the pit and somehow didn't. Panic Attack wants them down there though, you can tell that much. Trying to push them towards the pit again. Block Lobster moving away from the pit, and wisely. Now going around in circles. Now underneath Panic Attack. Now this is what I thought they might try and do, but again, look, that flipper just can't seem to flip them. And Panic Attack were, despite having Block Lobster underneath them there, were actually able to outpush them. So that just tells you how much more pushing power they got. We're into the final 10 seconds. So this one is most likely going to go to the judges. I think they are going to go for Panic Attack. Or will they have to? No, they won't. With just 2 seconds to spare, Panic Attack get the win. Well, that was a fight for the ages. That was Block Lobster somehow managing to defy the laws of physics and escaping the pit despite nearly throwing themselves into it. Panic Attack, though, for me, were in control throughout the entire thing there. And whilst Block Lobster did manage to get a few decent attacks in, it was mostly Panic Attack's work. Block Lobster outshone, unfortunately, by a superior machine. And whilst it is a cool Mirrobot, they definitely need to go back to the drawing board, I think, and improve what is a pretty cool design. Panic Attack, go through.
They made a right meal of it, but Panic Attack finally makes it through and are now on a collision course with old rivals Petunia to complete this corner of the bracket. Let's jump down to the bottom left corner now as the undefeated Aggro Orber has an all-axe encounter against Frenzy.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Well, we're in for a smashing time here as 2 hard-hitting heavy hammers come to blows. Aggro Wobber has actually outperformed its seeding for this series. It's seeded 20th, the lowest seed of the series, but they're ranked 5th for this bracket. Frenzy, meanwhile, will be happy to have even made the bracket. Okay, they're only ranked 28th, still quite low, but considering previous experience and previous success rates, I'm sure they'll be happy they at least made it this far. Now getting a hold. Oh, look there, the hammer's locking. I'm not too sure who was winning that little onslaught at the time, although Aggro Wobber has managed to cause damage to Frenzy. One of the panels has come off, look. So they're definitely winning on damage. Now going for the pit button. Can they use their 4-wheel drive to get Frenzy down that pit? I love the face on Aggro Wobber. It's also one of the most effective faces, I'd say, in LEGO Wars. It's a really good spinner deflector. But Frenzy managing to divert away and avoid the pit. Good defensive driving there from the American machine. It's great to see them get this far. It really is, considering how dismal they performed in the past. But for me, Aggro Wobber at the moment are on top. The hammers coming crashing down, swinging, bang and smash. A little bit of damage on there to Aggro Wobber's front wedgelets look, but I think they're okay. Although I think they got stuck on one of them there. They think they've beached themselves. Can they get down? Yes, I think they have just got down now. The face has come off as well and been smashed in half. Well, they will not be happy with that. Then again, let's be honest here, face is falling off and LEGO Wars is a given at this point. Oh, more damage done, look, to the top panel there of Aggro Wobber. One of the top panels knocked away. That means the internals will be exposed, and all of a sudden Frenzy, slowly but surely, are coming back into this one, and I could argue and maybe on top now, although more damage now being done to them as well. I'm not too sure if either of these machines are going to get a KO against one another here. They could well do, but I'm not too sure. Those hammers keep locking, which is kind of interesting, really. It's interesting to see who would win if they stayed locked. Well, to be fair, we'd probably stop the fight and get them split up, wouldn't we? That's the rule of LEGO, really. We get that together. Anyway, back to the action. Frenzy avoiding a hit there. Oh, and retracting a hammer shot there. They went for a shot but didn't use it. Didn't use it again on that occasion either. Now swinging the big hammer down right into the gears of the hammer of Aggro Wobber. Now, has that damaged that hammer? No. Aggro Wobber able to keep coming back swinging. More damage being done to Frenzy. This is a very, very close fight, actually. A lot closer than many might have thought it would have been. Aggro Wobber were a sure favourite for this one, being ranked 5th for this bracket. Seeded 20th overall, don't forget as well. Frenzy, meanwhile, with their previous success rate, like I said, almost a miracle that they got this far. They will be happy with that. Not many people expected them to do this well, especially against Aggro Wobber. This fight has been close. I would say Aggro Wobber might just be on top still. Only just a might, though, and they've got 8 seconds now. 7 seconds, 6 seconds to survive. I think it's going to survive. Frenzy looking a little bit tired towards the end, though. Cease called to end a very good fight. Very close fight, that one. Both robots going all guns a-blazing. Aggro Wobber started, I think, the stronger, but then took a lot of damage courtesy of Frenzy. Here, look, the face came off. They also lost their top panel. Here, look, bang! What a shot that was there by Frenzy. It looked like Frenzy were going to win it at that point, but then Aggro Wobber came back, doing damage late on in the fight. Add that to their late aggression and control, they may have just pipped this one. Frenzy certainly looked very tired towards the end. Very close one for the judges. Let's see what they've decided.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Aggro Wobber. A close fight, but it's the 20th seeds who march on to the round of 16. Let's see who they'll face now between the front hinge P1 and the Tokyo Hospitaler.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Now, David of Smeg has assured me that P1's minibot is actually named Crab. However, that's a rubbish name, so I'm going to ignore the dirty Smegger and keep calling it Clementine. So, Clementine at the side now of Hospital. Hospital's shield comes flying off. They seem to have the turning better, actually, in this battle. They finally managed to iron out those little wrinkles with the turning. Look at the gears working together there to get that lift in on P1. Could we see an upset here? P1 ranked higher in this bracket. Also seeded 16th for the main competition. Hospitaler, unseeded newcomers, seeded quite low in this bracket. Clementine being pushed back by them. P1 went for the pit button there, didn't get it on that attempt. Now Clementine getting the pit button, and Hospitaler nearly drove down it. Now P1 getting underneath them. Those are more of the tactics that we expect to see from P1 in this fight. Clementine trying to get underneath Hospitaler, but not really doing a very good job of it, to be honest. Hospitaler, I think, have managed to beat themselves on their own lifter there. Or on something. They're certainly stuck on something here. Clementine maybe trying to free them there. Now P1 coming in and having a go. Get out of the way, little brother. You're not really doing a very good job. Let me try instead. Hospitaler is definitely stuck on something, and it's definitely a piece of their own armour. Little bit of a design flaw there. That's the one problem with LEGO Wars. A lot of robots get caught on broken bits of their own bodies. So I guess you could say it's a shared design flaw, a universal one throughout LEGO Wars. Into the sidewall now. Hospitaler slammed by P1. P1 for me, despite starting the slower of these two, has definitely come back stronger. And Hospitaler seem to be having all those control problems they had earlier on in this series. The turning seems to be slower. They seem to not be driving as smoothly as they did earlier on in this fight. P1 now properly underneath them, pinning them against the sidewall. Are we going to see them get flipped here? Or will the sidewall protect them? P1 not even really attempting to flip them, to be honest. Is their flipper okay? Has it broke? Clementine just sort of driving around doing its own thing. The two machines, I think, are stuck together here, actually. And the judges have called for an unstick.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So both machines have been unstuck, although not by the evidence of that. There we go. Hospitaler now finally away. Or are they? Or are they? They still appear to be stuck on that piece of armor. There we go. That's better. Look at the speed of the turning now on it. There we go. That's more like it. Hospitaler now coming in on the attack. It's a shame that they can't keep the consistency with that drive, isn't it? Because I tell you what, if they could be a very fierce machine, and getting underneath P1 again here. Oh, but overbalancing, and now Clementine getting underneath. Now we're into the final 7 seconds of the fight. Oh, the pit is right there. Are we going to see another late second pitting? I don't think we are. No. Cease call. Hospitaler and P1 surviving, and Clementine going down the pit instead. Well, a bit of everything happened in that fight. Hospitaler actually worked properly, got some lifts in, and even turned pretty well too. But then they did spend a lot of the fight stuck on a piece of debris on the arena floor, and that really did impede them, and that meant they were essentially a sitting duck, allowing P1 to get many attacks in. They did eventually get stuck together. They were freed after an unstick, though for me P1 was certainly the more aggressive and dominated the fight at that point. The Hospitaler, once they got free, did come back strong towards the end though. Good fight, this one.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is P1. Despite some decent lifts, it's the end of the road for Hospitaler as the 16th seeds move on to the next round. All of the Mott and Bailey hopes fall of Wakanata now against the rejuvenated Dietor.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Certainly a clash of two fun, silly, and dare I say it, zany designs here. Dietor versus Wakanata, both unseeded for this series, but both of them very well to get this far. Dietor ranked 13th, got those two great KOs in its heat against Weldor M, and good hits too. That's why they're ranked as high as they are, getting underneath Wakanata and pinning them against you in a side wall. But this is the kind of design that they don't really want to fight. It's very hard to get a hold of, and despite the high ground clearance, it's practically unflippable because it's, well, invertible and thwacks backwards and forwards. Wakanata, oh, taking out one of the eyes of Dietor. Now, will that affect the vision of the robot at all? I hear it does. I hear it completely ruins their driving. But Dietor now pinning Wakanata against the side wall. Wakanata, of course, got that very surprising KO win against the Diddler in their heat. So certainly ought not to be sniffed at in this tournament. Actually representing the great Stapley, the same guys who brought Hospitaler into this series. So a little bit of a tidbit there for you. Fun facts with Anderson. Thank you very much for joining me. Dietor, pinning Thwackenhatten against the sidewall, but Thwackenhatten managing to get away and trying to bring in that circular saw. Thwackenhatten certainly winning on damage at the moment because, let's be honest here, Dietor couldn't damage a fly, let's be real. But Dietor certainly the more controlled of these two machines, using that bucket scoop to good effect, trying to pin Thwackenhatten against the arena sidewalls as often as possible. For me, I think Dietor's best tactic and most viable tactic is to go for the pit and try and get Thwackenhatten down it. Thwackenhatten, just keep doing what you're doing, lads. Honestly, you're doing really, really well. Just keep it up. Keep thwacking around mad, and who knows, you might get another KO win. I don't think the saw's working on Thwackenhatten, but let's be honest, that's just more for show, really, to kind of prove it's got an active weapon. I think the main weapon is the fact that it just spins around and thwacks around madly like a weird pendulum, which I absolutely love. Dietor, oh wait, what happened there? What? Thwackenhatten just backed over the pit, and the pit just gave up on life and said, screw it, I'm done. Goodbye, lads. Dietor get the win, somehow. Another day, another arena malfunction. I'm guessing the pit button was pressed there and it failed to go down on the original hit, meaning it was loose for when Thwackenhatten eventually went over it. Dietor, for me, were the more aggressive and the more controlled throughout, although Thwackenhatten certainly was the more fun, wacky and zany machine. The pit didn't go down there though, or there when either machine went over. I'm not really too sure what happened there. Either way, Dietor controlled the fight for certain, definitely on the aggressive, and whilst it ended up being the more damaged machine, Thwackenhatten ended up in the pit.
The ghosts of Series 2 still appear to be lurking as Thwackenhatten falls foul of the old sticking pit to give Dietor a place in the next round against one of our external verts. Let's see if it's the domineering pain or the classic nightmare to complete this half of the round of 32.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
So this is the fight I think a lot of people have been waiting for in this 32 bracket. Pain versus Nightmare, two very scary vertical spinning flywheels from the US of A. Not much damage was done via Pain on that first attack there, or on that one. Is that spinner working as well as it was in the heat? It is by the evidence of that. Don't forget, Pain did very, very well in its heat. Only lost to, but apart from that, he had an unprecedented destructive run, even managing to cause serious damage to our number 5 seeds, 2 Jeff, 2 Fabulous. And they've managed to earn the 4th ranking in this bracket. Nightmare! Oh, look at the damage there to the back of Nightmare. I'm pretty certain Nightmare are done for here. This flywheel's still spinning somehow. I'm not too sure how that's still going. Look at the... Look at the battery pack hanging off the back of it, being dragged around like some sort of disgusting entrail. Oh dear, that doesn't really make pleasant thinking actually. Sorry about that. Oh! And off comes one of the wheels as well. Oh, and now it's only a matter of time, surely. Oh dear, look there. The batteries have gone, the motors have gone, the wheels gone, the weapons gone. It's all gone. It's all finished. And Pain, rightfully so, celebrating in delight. This, I could honestly see winning this series. Watch out for these guys in the future. Well, it's a shame to see Nightmare get taken out like that. They are a legend of robot combat, but I guess this is proof that it's time to get rid of the old and say hello to the new. Look at that damage. The back panels, the wheels gone, the batteries removed, the motors ripped apart. Pain, this is one scary robot.
And after just over a minute, it's Pain who will move on to the round of 16. It's been a fantastic start to the knockout stages as we saw some of the stars of this year strut their stuff to move on to the next round and a step closer to the Series 3 crown. Join us next time where we'll see the second half of the round of 32 where the other 16 competitors will resume their charge to glory. For now, I've been your host David of Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
I'm going to die.